How do you do? I'm your host, Eddie Muller, and this is Noir Alley. Today, we're headed uptown to the ritzier side of Hollywood. And in the driver's seat is Robert Taylor, one of the Golden Age's biggest stars. He plays cab driver Johnny Eager, the title role in this 1942 offering from Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Now, there is a long tradition of movies named for Johnnies, most of them crime dramas from the 40s and 50s. Are you ready? There was Johnny Apollo, Johnny O'Clock, Johnny Angel, Johnny Allegro, Johnny Stool Pigeon, Johnny Dark, Johnny Cool, Johnny One-Eye, Johnny Staccato, not to mention Johnny Guitar, and the lone gal in the bunch, Johnny Belinda. The thing about Johnny is you can put it in front of anything and get a good title. Johnny Camera, Johnny Leather Chair, Johnny Cocktail. Anyway, in today's story, Johnny Eager's taxi gig is only a front. He's a paroled ex-con posing as a hack to fool his parole officer. Johnny still runs his rackets and lives high on the hog. But what he really wants to have is a clean, respectable, legit enterprise, a dog track. He spies a shortcut in the shapely form of Lisbeth Bard, daughter of the guy who controls the state's racing permits.
Don't lie to me, Mr. Eager.
Why not?
Because I have no intention of reporting you.
Now, if this sounds like a picture straight out of the 1930s, that's because its co-authors, John Lee Mahan and James Edward Grant, spent the previous decade churning out lots of scripts like this, many of them mismatched romances. Mahan was an in-demand constructionist, a guy who knew how to break down a script and put it back together in more exciting fashion. Among his better-known pictures were Red Dust, Bombshell, Wife versus Secretary, and The Last Gangster, vehicles for some of the top stars at Warner's and MGM. James Edward Grant worked deeper in the trenches, but he'd get better jobs in the 40s once he became a regular drinking buddy and screenwriter for John Wayne. In 1949, he'd write Johnny Allegro, sort of a noir take on the most dangerous game. Mahan and Grant's script for Johnny Eager is a transition between 30s crime melodramas and 40s pictures with darker themes and style, what would later be known as noir. So don't expect Double Indemnity. This is MGM in 1941, so you can only get so dark under the auspices of L.B. Mayer. What the studio was banking on was the combustible chemistry of the two stars. In 1941, Robert Taylor was, along with Clark Gable, MGM's top male draw. He was coming off his best dramatic role ever in Waterloo Bridge opposite Vivien Leigh, her first film since Gone with the Wind. Now, Leigh had balked at working with Taylor. She wanted her husband, Laurence Olivier. But Taylor won her over, and both actors would cite Waterloo Bridge among their personal favorites. Waterloo Bridge was directed by Mervyn LeRoy, and for his follow-up, he hit on the idea of putting Taylor in a clinch with his personal discovery, Lana Turner. Now, everybody's heard the mythical tale of Turner being discovered sipping a Coke at the counter of Schwab's drugstore. Less known is that it was Mervyn LeRoy who gave Lana her first screen role in the 1937 drama They Won't Forget. He wanted a, quote, young woman who was sexy and innocent at the same time, and he cast Judy Turner the minute he laid eyes on her. She was 15 years old. LeRoy suggested she change her name to Lana, and he arranged her contract with MGM. He also put her in the tight outfit that gave the actress her first nickname, the Sweater Girl. In no time flat, LeRoy's protege went from earning $75 to $5 grand a week. She was co-starring with Spencer Tracy and Clark Gable and having every eligible bachelor in Hollywood sending her MASH notes. So did the married guys. Robert Taylor and Barbara Stanwyck had tied the knot 2 years earlier, but proximity to his 20-year-old co-star snapped Taylor's fidelity like a matchstick. He was smitten, writing in his autobiography that Lana didn't know how to talk without being sexy, and that being near her on the set was enough to make him explode. Johnny Eager, indeed. Turner did nothing to dampen Taylor's ardor, and their on-set romance turned very real, very fast. More on that after the movie. Well, MGM realized they'd caught lightning in a bottle, and the studio promoted the film with the classic tagline, Taylor and Turner are TNT. Now, MGM would use the exact same approach 4 years later to sell another Lana Turner picture, 1946's The Postman Always Rings Twice, turning a crime drama into a romantic meller aimed at women. Johnny Eager also gave a breakout role to 33-year-old Van Heflin.
I seem to have offended your light of love by using a polysyllabic word.
You're drunk.
Katharine Hepburn had persuaded the stage actor to take a crack at pictures in the late 30s, but Heflin didn't really register in a series of forgettable Bs. So he went back to Broadway in 1939, appearing in The Philadelphia Story, opposite Katharine Hepburn, Joseph Cotten, and Shirley Booth. Robert Taylor saw it and nudged MGM to offer Heflin a contract. Taylor then told Mervyn LeRoy that Heflin would be perfect for the part of Johnny Eager's self-loathing and lovelorn pal, Jeff Hartnett. Heflin gave Taylor credit for adjusting him to film acting, making his actions smaller and more nuanced for a camera, not a crowd. Taylor's counsel was wise. Heflin won the 1942 Best Supporting Actor Oscar for this role, which remained a favorite in a career that lasted into the 1970s. Also starring Edward Arnold, Patricia Dane, Glenda Farrell, and Diane Lewis, a.k.a. Mrs. William Powell, here's a romantic crime drama that hinges on what the world would soon call gaslighting. From the Tiffany studio in 1942, this is Johnny Eager.